so much magic that comes from seeing the holiday through your kids' eyes when they're little.
Young.
And for me, I'm Christian, so there's another layer of magic of the season, but how I wanted to have a conversation about just finding magic in other ways in the season with your kids or on your own, because the kids are grown up, so it's going to look different, but how can we still get that same feeling?
That's great.
Or do we have to let it go?
I understand
and just
it now.
accept what is instead? But I don't think so.
No.
I don't think that's the answer. I think it can still be very magical.
Yeah.
And very special. And the easy thing to think is, well, God willing, grandkids will come along and we'll see it through their eyes, which will be fun. But also, what we've been saying here all along, the overarching theme is how can we create, not just at the holiday, but this is about the holiday, this conversation, but in general, creating magic on our own right and not expecting it from the kids or the grandkids or other. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Life After Kids with Doctors Brooke and Lynn. I'm Dr. Brooke.
And I'm Dr. Lynn.
Thank you, ladies, for joining us today.
We're talking about keeping magic in the holidays with your older kids.
Yes, I wanted to talk about
Yeah,
that.
tell us why, because I always like to hear it, because when we talk topics, we almost have to do a little mini podcast discussion about it until we realize what we're trying to get at.
I know.
So where do you want to go with this today?
Well, I think we'll have to see because I'm not sure. But my thought was just that, there's a special thing when your kids are little, at least for me, because I love, we've talked about this before, I love a traditional holiday. And that magic of them waking up Christmas morning and the night before, so nervous and excited to get to bed because Santa's coming. And we put the cookies out for Santa and the carrot for Rudolph, and we just did all the things. We did the elf on the shelf. There's just so much pure and innocent magic in that piece of the season, seeing it through your kids' eyes. Anyway, that's where I was going with that. Just there's so much magic that comes from seeing the holiday through your kids' eyes when they're little.
Young.
And for me, I'm Christian, so there's another layer of magic of the season, but how I wanted to have a conversation about just finding magic in other ways in the season with your kids or on your own, because the kids are grown up, so it's going to look different, but how can we still get that same feeling?
That's great.
Or do we have to let it go?
I understand
and just
it now.
accept what is instead? But I don't think so.
No.
I don't think that's the answer. I think it can still be very magical.
Yeah.
And very special. And the easy thing to think is, well, God willing, grandkids will come along and we'll see it through their eyes, which will be fun. But also, what we've been saying here all along, the overarching theme is how can we create, not just at the holiday, but this is about the holiday, this conversation, but in general, creating magic on our own right and not expecting it from the kids or the grandkids or other pieces.
Well, and I think that this probably hits you more because you are definitely more tied to those holiday traditions. I
absolutely am.
I wish.
No offense to you.
No, none taken. Because I actually wish that I had more of that, but we just had an unconventional traveling to family on Christmas, or we just chose because there's just three of us. I think a bigger family in a home, it lends itself more to that.
Yeah, maybe.
And we just chose a different path for Christmas, and we embrace and love our experience. But I have to say that I think I enjoy it more now.
Really? That's interesting.
Because I guess it was fun. It's just, you have a tendency to forget. Unless you're really kind of trained to looking back. And I think there's three types of people. I think there's people that are trained to look in the past. And this is a talent, actually, if you look at strengths profile, that there's a couple of what we call time-based talents.
Mm-hmm.
So one where you're looking in the past at context.
Yeah.
And you're using what happened before to inform you of, your experience going forward. And then there's sort of adapt in the present. And then there's people who spend a lot of time in the future. They're just thinking about what if and the possibilities and their vision
mm-hmm.
for what's possible. And I think I'm tend to be that person in the present. And so I sort of, it's not that I negate the past, but I sort of just kind of have forgotten about it. I've kind of left it there, you know?
Yeah.
But so interesting thought, like, which one are you, like, to come out of that, like giving that?
Yeah, because that would say a lot about how you're going to feel during the holiday, or how you're going to approach it.
Right.
Do you tend to want to linger in the past? Can you stay in the present moment? Or are you looking ahead?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting thought. And I think, and this lends itself to discussion, because I think maybe magical is not the right word, but I think it's just worth having the conversation about, and because many of you have written in and said, like, I feel so down, or what do I do? Because my kids aren't coming home, or they're going with the in-laws, and all of a sudden I'm spending a holiday alone. So how do we make it special beyond just another day? That's where I think I was coming from. How do we make it more special without the kids at home, or if we're on our own with our spouse, or by ourselves in general with friends, whatever that looks like. But I just want to take a moment to celebrate you. We've been throwing celebrate around so much, but you do such a great job, and you've always done this. It's been such a gift for me in my life. And you mentioned this on the coffee break episode that we did. So go back and listen to that if you haven't listened to it already. But you can just find the special part of even the simplest, like, day-to-day moment that wouldn't seem special because it's something that you could do at any time. You're so good at seeing the special piece of it, or making it special, or making it just feel a little magical. Like, so I'm going to give you the example. And I don't know if you know this about yourself, but you do it all the time, and I love it. You were talking about coffee break, that you and Mark, your husband's schedule on typically Thursdays. And you're like, it's so nice, and you can go out, you go to a nice cafe, and you're sitting in a booth together, and the sun's coming in through the window, and you've got your nice hot, and you just are really good at seeing those little details that make it feel special, that you might miss if you're not paying attention.
I think there's,
where does
so
that
I guess
come
I didn't know that I do that
with everything.
But I do think it's just a case of, like, getting older and seeing that it's not the big flashy thing. It's not the big commercial thing, like, for instance, at Christmas. It's not necessarily like the big tradition. It's in and of itself. Like, that adds to the whole experience of Christmas. But at the heart of it, it is like, I guess it's just training myself over time to kind of see the simple but powerful things. That we talk about that all the time. I think it's whatever you can find that's going to lend itself to quality time with your family and leave you feeling a happy and relaxed mom. That's the most magical Christmas that you can give your family. Right. You can have with your family.
That's true. It's
right?
so true.
It's
so simple.
Easier said than done. Easier said than done. We recognize that, but in and of itself. So yes, I've never thought about that for myself. So thank you for such a nice compliment. But I think
you don't realize that you do that.
I think we could all do well for ourselves to see the simple, basic things. I think I get that from my sister. My sister is really good at that.
Really?
Really
interesting.
Good at that. Yes. Yeah, you got to see her when she has a glass of wine. She gets, like, so happy with just, like.
Well, she's a 7 Enneagram.
Yes, maybe that's
So maybe that's
very
part of
easy for her to be like, oh, look at this beautiful mug, and, like, I love it, and just seeing the specialness and simple things.
Yeah,
I guess.
And you notice this. I think that you can just bring things in from the environment just to give it a little added. Like, even when we're getting done, when we are together recording, you do this probably more at your house than mine, because in my house you just kind of follow suit, and I'm kind of like bleh. But you're like, hey, we're going to get done, we're going to sit down and have enjoy a nice glass of wine, we're going to put on some music, have a little snack. You just bring, like, special moments into this out of something simple.
Yeah.
You're good at doing that. You're good at leveling it up just a little bit, or elevating it.
Cool.
In a simple way.
I'll take that.
So take that talent and let's talk about that in reference to Christmas and the holidays.
Yeah, and
Thanksgiving too, because we're not at Thanksgiving.
Exactly. And I'll say it again, just anything that lends itself to quality time, quality connection, where you actually go to bed that night, lay your head on the pillow, and feel like you saw your children and your children saw you. I mean, is this too much to hope for? Nowadays, I hope not, right? Yeah. I hope, even if it's just one little joke that you shared and you guys laughed and looked at each other in your eyes and you just met each other, right? In that small moment. And so anything that lends itself to that quality time is the best gift that you can give your family along with a relaxed and happy mom. So some of the ways that you can bring that out, I mean, music.
I was going to say, you would have that on your list. These
aesthetic things, these environmental cues, I guess, that we can prime ourselves for. I guess I do use those now that you think about it quite a bit. And it's that priming of your environment that leads itself to a little bit more of a celebration. Mm-hmm. So turn on the music. It's not a normal Monday. It's Christmas. So we do have the music on in the house, but turn it up a little bit, dance a little bit, mm-hmm. right? That I did a post recently about I hope you guys are dancing. If you haven't done it in a long time, get your butt out and do some dancing because it's freaking awesome. It makes you feel so alive.
For real.
And that's what we're all chasing, right? It's you want that feeling, and that's how you're going to remember something. When you have that moment of just your whole body and your being is just enjoying the moment. That's how your brain captures memories. You're so present and enjoying something, you'll remember that forever.
Yeah. And to your point, we've done this in the past with the kids as they got older, just to make the holiday special, because we were all used to, when we lived in Pennsylvania, having big, huge, and we're Italian, so huge Christmas celebrations. And then we moved and it was just like me and Ken and the kids. Or Papa Ken's dad would come, and when his mother was alive, but it was much smaller. So one year we had a dance contest on Christmas Eve. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. So the rules were we each had to pick a Christmas song that we were going to dance to. And then we each had to do the dance, and then we voted on who was the best. If you could have seen Papa Ken, the dance that he did, it was so funny. And I'm pretty sure I made that contest just so I could watch him and make fun of him, because he knows we have a great relationship. We poke at each other all the time. No, he did not win. But it was really fun. There's an instance of where you could bring some magic.
And you'll remember that forever, right?
100%.
And your kids will remember that
I hope
forever.
so. I hope they do. One year we had a karaoke machine. I'm going off on a tangent. That was really fun.
Great idea. You rented it?
Yeah. No, we bought just a small one. It was part of their Christmas present. It did the job.
I remember AJ. He's a great singer.
And it had disco lights. And I didn't know. What did I sing with them? Or I sang something on my own. It might have been Baby It's Cold Outside or something. And I didn't know they were recording me. They put it on Facebook. What an embarrassment.
Nobody tagged me in that. I need to see that
I
video.
might be a worse singer than I am dancer. I don't know if it's possible. Do you know, can we take a moment, because I have to tell you one. Do you know, have you ever had that recurring dream where you're you're in public naked, or people have these weird recurring dreams, or the recurring dream that I also have one that you go to college, you go to class and you're not prepared for the test, or the final exam and you haven't been to class all year.
Okay, I was going to say that's my recurring dream.
Yeah.
That's got to be you're feeling unprepared for whatever's happening to you. Right? You're just
there's something psychological there. You have it over and over.
I have a recurring tornado dream too, which
I
is
bet you
not super fun. But once in a while, and you're just hunkering down. And I think they say that signifies you feeling things are out of control, out of your control.
So interesting.
Spinning out of control.
Because bringing it back to, I got off on this tangent from singing. I don't even think I realized that I keep having this recurring dream. I have a recurring dream, not even weekly, certainly not daily, but maybe once a month or every month, that I'm on American Idol. And I'm in the finals and I have to sing, and I'm I know I'm not really that good of a singer, but everybody thinks I am, and I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get up on stage and perform.
Imposter syndrome.
I guess that's what I'm dealing with. I feel like I have imposter syndrome. Anyway, here I go again, sidetracking.
Well, let's get back.
And I wake up sweaty from that. Let's get night sweats.
That would make you sweaty, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's get back to Christmas.
Yes,
so some of the ways that we can make these connections and quality time. I mean, these are simple things, but if you haven't thought about them, haven't done them. Last year we did the Olympics, the games.
That was fun.
Super easy, cheap, fun. They're all over Pinterest, TikTok. It was a big trend. You could get the paper cups and, push them across with a straw, and all the different ways to do it. But it was something, and we set it up where we did it throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And it was so fun.
It was really fun.
Kids loved it. You can put a little money in it, keep them, interested. And you can make it as easy or as elaborate as you want. I mean, there's people that really go all out with that.
That's right.
That's really good for a bigger crowd. But it's something where it gets people up off the couch. I think, we just have a tendency to slide into the holidays exhausted and so looking forward to the rest and the connection and the time, and then because we're too tired and maybe haven't prepared for what to do in the moments where we have the downtime, that we just all end up sitting on the couch and on our phones. And a little bit of that might be needed, but you certainly don't want to spend 4 days doing that, because you're going to get at the end of it and it's going to be like eating a big bag of chips. The first couple of bites were great, but it doesn't feel so good
on the
other side. Right?
100%.
The next thing is just anything with an element of surprise. So your dance party would fit that. I mean, that's just something you don't do often, right? It's just
correct.
Spontaneity. Just Google it, guys. Like, how to use ChatGPT, how to keep my teenagers entertained on Christmas. Like, use a prompt. I mean, that's a way to use to get ideas to stimulate creativity. You don't have to invent the wheel.
Right. Don't reinvent when other people have gone before you.
But you just have to you might have to just put it into motion.
Yes. I love that.
Encourage people. Actually set a time and say, like, hey guys, we're going to go this entire meal, or we're going to go this entire day. Do a phone-free period of time. Because if you guys can commit to that, what you're going to do is you're going to find yourself being restless at first. You're going to want to reach for your phone and then you can't. So then you're going to have to find something, and it's going to be talking to each other, hopefully, or pulling out a jigsaw puzzle, or, taking a walk and talking, or whatever, a game. Yeah.
Yep. That's great.
Travel at Christmas. Talk about growth and novelty and getting sun. This is a great way to stack a lot of things. If you're not a traditionalist, get your family on a plane and go somewhere really cool. Spend the money on the trip instead of the gifts.
Right.
We've done that, and we've done that our whole life with our daughter. I don't know if I would recommend that for everybody, obviously. But
everything is different.
Choice is a little different, but we've loved it.
Yeah, and by the way, if you are in a position heading into this holiday season where this is the first time, or it's been occurring and you've been a little miserable because your kids don't come home for whatever reason, and you're by yourself with your spouse or partner or whatever it is, maybe this is the year you take the trip.
Yeah.
And maybe it's without the kids, but maybe you change it up. The worst thing is to sit at home and feel sorry for yourself.
Yes, and by the way, all of these things you can do by yourself or with your spouse.
Right.
You can play
all
games,
the things
you
that
can
we're
do.
Well, yeah.
It works no matter what situation.
I think it's worth having that conversation, because we still have kids that are either in college and coming back, or in the house that are older, right? So they're doing their thing, but they're typically with us on the holiday. But there's a lot of moms listening whose kids are getting married or with significant others, and they're choosing to spend their holiday in a different way. And so all these things that we're talking about, to your point, do them, change it up. And just because your kids might not be around or they might be older doesn't mean you still can't get into the spirit of the season and enjoy yourself and make memories.
You've got to keep living, right? We have to, this is our life as well.
Yeah.
And it's our life we're creating for periods on our own without our children. And so what brings life to you? What makes you feel alive? What is it? Dancing? Is it games? Is it travel? Mm-hmm. Give yourself that gift, right? This is the time when don't sit on the couch. Go live your life and get, the experiences that you're hoping for. Create this. You are in control of your destiny.
Right. And that could look like, some examples that come to mind for me are go to a Christmas concert, go to a Christmas musical or play, go to the mall during the holiday season with the Christmas music playing, even if you're not shopping, to browse a little bit, go grab your husband or grab some girlfriends and go to an outdoor ice skating rink around the tree. How fun would that be? Fun. And then go for a cup of hot cocoa afterwards.
Yes, I love that. Go by yourself if you don't have friends that want to go do that. Do that by yourself. Let's commit to taking this upon ourselves to create these experiences that we want.
Right. Or even a little moment, like, I don't know, how do you feel, because we're coming up on Thanksgiving, like about the Macy's Day Parade? Because that was always a staple in our house.
You guys are going to like this. You're going to be Dr. Lynn. I hated the Macy's.
I knew you were going to say that. that.
I hated it. And do you know why? It's the worst thing. Now that I live in America, Thanksgiving is like the best holiday. I'm totally on board with it. But growing up, it wasn't a holiday in Canada. And that would be, I don't know, if there were like 12 years of school, I swear for 8 of them, I was sick on that day, on that Thursday. And
there was nothing on TV.
There was nothing on TV.
Except the parade that you didn't want to watch.
Yeah. So I didn't get to watch my talk shows or Sally Jesse Raphael.
Oh my gosh, I remember staying home and watching that too.
You know, Another World with the...
yeah, I do.
And what was the one with the Days of Our Lives?
Vanessa, yeah. Oh my gosh. As the world turns.
Yeah.
So, okay, we're getting off on another tangent. But so for me, like the Macy's Day Parade, we watched it growing up, and I remember always watching it with my kids and then getting so excited about Santa at the end and the start of the Christmas season. And last Thanksgiving, my parents are with us most Thanksgiving. They travel to us. And we FaceTime with my younger brother who's on his second marriage and he has little ones. And it was so sweet because they were watching the parade and they both had hot cocoa in sippy cups. And they were in their footed Christmas holiday pajamas. And he was in his pajamas with his coffee and they were watching the parade together. And my heart like skipped a little beat because I remember, like, I was like, oh, my kids are older and they don't care about it as much. But hey, why can't I sit down with a glass of champagne or a mimosa or if I'm just having a tea and enjoy the parade?
Enjoy it. Yeah.
And maybe feel a little happy that you don't have to get up and run after screaming kids, that you can really just enjoy it and take it in and be in the moment.
And you never know
about how far you've come.
You never know who'll come and sit on the couch next to you because you're sitting there having a grand old time watching something fun.
I mean, why don't we do more moments of that? And it's the same with Christmas, that you could take the time. Like, I had a great time. Here's an example. We talk about letting go so that your kids want to come back around. So I've always not forced on because they did it with me, but I've always wanted to like have the quintessential family decorating of the Christmas tree together with the Christmas music going and enjoying it. And I have 3 boys, and I'm stereotyping here, but 10 minutes in, they're like, you know, I always have this idea of how I want it to go, and it really never does. So this last year, like, I was taking on a different perspective. The first one was in college, and he wasn't there to decorate the tree because I like to put it up early and enjoy it for longer. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy this without anyone screaming about when it's over or anybody bickering or fighting. I'm going to put on Christmas music. I'm going to take my time doing it. I'm not like you. Normally I'm doing it when I'm stressed and I'm tired. I'm just trying to get it over with, even though I want it to be fun. And I'm just going to be in the moment and really enjoy this. I'm not going to put up all the decorations I normally do. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I'm just going to simplify it and enjoy it.
How was that for you?
So here's what happened. I was doing it. It was like a Thursday night. Maybe it was even a Friday. It was like probably 6 or 7 o'clock. And Andrew walks in the door because after school, he has after school activities lifts. He walks in. Andrew's the one that, when you hear this, he'll be in college this year. And he was pissed. Mom, why are you decorating the Christmas tree without me? Like, I wanted to have Katie over, his girlfriend. I wanted all of us to decorate it together. Why would you do that without us? Why would you leave us out? And I was like, are you kidding me right now? And he's like, no, I'm not kidding. It's my I'm going to be in college. Why can't I do this? And I was like, Andrew, I thought I was doing you a favor. Nobody ever wants to do this with me. I was like, do you want me to stop and wait? Yes, I do want you to stop and wait. So I had a half-decorated Christmas tree, which you know me, does not fly well. And I had to wait for 3 days later when they can all come together and decorate it.
Oh, but you have to love that.
I did love it. I'm not complaining, but I'm saying there's a perfect example when you play a little hard to get or let it go. You let go and just, I'm going to enjoy this on my own. They have a way of coming back around. I'm like, what are you doing? I want to be involved.
I love that.
So anyway, but my point is, even if he hadn't come back around to that, why can't we create those special moments, even if we're doing it on our own? And
Absolutely.
Just enjoy it for what it is. You put on the music, you set the stage, light a nice holiday candle, or get your essential oils going, get yourself in the mood.
Lower the lights, all the things, turn on the Christmas tree.
And just create that environment and that setting and that feeling that you want to emulate. It's
Absolutely. I love it. And magic, I have written here, magic is created from meaningful connection, right? So it's the times that you do the things where you're talking and you're laughing. So set the stage for that. But also those novel experiences. So put in something new. You might be a person who just loves tradition so much and you want to create it just as it was when you were a kid, but slip in a few of those new things because that's going to be remembered from year to year.
Yeah.
The time, remember the year we did this? Remember the year we did that?
That's true.
And then also being present. So, really focus in, sit and think about, there's just a practice, I think it's just called mindfulness. It's a mindfulness of just looking at your cup and appreciating your cocoa or your coffee and just seeing the moment for what it is, which is, we're so grateful to live where we live and be in the houses that we are and have the families that we do. And so seeing what is and appreciating and loving and being grateful for what is and letting go of what isn't.
Right. I really hope if you're listening, that you're not heading into the holiday season because it's almost upon us just with a little bit of angst or trepidation because your kids are older or because maybe they're not coming home. I hope if you are, that you're listening to this and we're changing your perspective or shifting your mindset on it a little bit because that's a sad feeling. The holidays.
It is. And it rips my heart out. We've heard from so many women in our community that just don't have a great relationship with their kids or their kids are choosing not to come home on Christmas. And so we, in those instances, again, we can't, just a reminder, we can only control our actions and behaviors. And we can't, even our adult children, we can't control what they do. And however things have gotten to that place, just examine your role in it. Try to do better and create the magic for yourself if that's the best bridge for you right now through happiness.
Yeah. And by the way, this is a great opportunity too, as you say, trying something new. It can be simple. Try a new cookie recipe. Bake for yourself. Bake for your spouse. Bake and take what you're doing over to your neighbors. Have your neighbors over. If you're feeling lonely, have a party. Have a get together.
So
it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be last minute. It could be nobody cares about all this fancy decoration. Just put on some nice music. And to that end as well, if you are feeling down as we head into all of the holidays, or you're concerned about what your kids are doing, or you're feeling lonely, you may need to just let go of your pride and reach out and connect with somebody. Maybe it's a friend in town. Maybe it's another family member, someone, and just let them know that you're feeling that way because you let them know and even, maybe go over, ask if you could come to their house. It's not, probably they're not thinking that you need that and they wouldn't know unless you would speak it. And if they're a good friend, they're probably going to welcome that.
That's great. Be your own advocate for
you have to self-advocate. Yeah, absolutely.
It's great.
This is getting me excited for it's May as we are recording this.
I know, and the years fly by, so we certainly don't want to rush through it, but Christmas is a special time, and I think that it can be also a stressful time, but let's make it more magical.
Thanksgiving too.
Yeah, Thanksgiving too.
Do the little things that we can do that's within our grasp, that
within your zone of control.
Exactly, within our control. That we can do to make a change. And by the way, if you are in a season where, you know what I'm going to say when I get to it, if you are in a season where your kids are like college or for the first time not coming home or whatever it is, you have to watch Christmas with the Cranks.
That is a great movie.
It's even funnier now as my kids are getting older. If you haven't watched it, you have to watch it. It's Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen, when he goes and gets that spray tan. So they have one daughter, she's not coming home from Christmas because she's going to the Peace Corps. They decide they're going to just forget Christmas and go on a cruise.
Yeah, it was based on a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah, by, was it written by John Grisham? It was written by somebody unexpected.
Okay, now.
If you know that, post it in the comments, but I think it's John Grisham.
I had no idea. And that leads me to one more thing, because I can see the look that you want to wrap up. But another thing that I love that for me brings a little more magic into the holiday season, right around this time, right before Thanksgiving, I start to stockpile a couple of holiday books. So I love the holiday movies, the holiday scents, the treats, drinks, all of those things. I also love to read a couple good holiday books. That's where my reading shifts, like holiday novels.
Yeah.
Maybe you wouldn't like it, Lynn. It's a little bit like a cheesy Hallmark
I do in the
movie
summer,
and a book.
so yeah. And I've grown
done that?
to love those movies. Oh, I used to poo-poo them really, and I hate that person who's just like judgy. So I don't mean to be that, but I just found them like, I'm like, it's a Hallmark. What's that? And I'm talking years ago. And then I actually gave them a try, and I was like, oh my gosh,
so feel good.
Yes, bring it on. Bring
Yes.
them all on.
And that's how the books, it's like a Hallmark movie in a book. And it's just so fun to snuggle up. So think about doing that too. And now I've got to add Christmas with the Cranks to that. I didn't know it was a book. I'm going to read it. That would be fun and a laugh out loud. Okay, she wants me to wrap. I can tell. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. It's always a pleasure to have you. Make sure you're following us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The website is www.lifeafterkids.com. If you're looking for more connection in this season of life and just season that we're in, we've got the Life After Kids membership community. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you have a great day, an even better week. And I'm so excited to see and hear about what all of you do as we head into the holidays.
Yes, go create some holiday magic, and hugs to you.